Hey guys, and welcome to PlanetSide. I'm Rifle, the Pondering Gamer, and today I'm going to give you my side of the story regarding the AF-8 Railjack, which is what you'll see me using in the background. Now, let me start by saying, I'm a mediocre player and an inexperienced sniper. Between the two rifles I most commonly use, the SASR and the LA-80, I have less than 900 kills combined. However, I spent the last couple days getting to know the Railjack, and I really felt compelled to come here and speak my piece on this controversial weapon. So, some of you have probably seen a bit of negativity surrounding the last minute change to this weapon's mechanics, and we'll get into that more later in the episode. But for those of us who don't know the basics of the AF-8, let's take a quick look. Just going right down the list, I'm not sure where the chamber times come from because they're not correct. I noticed this when comparing the Railjack with the SASR, which has a noticeably faster cycle rate. The in-game tooltip states that the SASR is 0.2 of a second slower than the AF-8. But in my own testing, I was able to determine that the Railjack has about 2 seconds between shots, whereas the SASR cycles in a shade over 1 second. For those of you who are thinking about coming over from the EM4 Longshot, you've been seeing cycle times of around 1.75 seconds, so you are going to be looking at slower follow-up shots if you decide to go with the AF-8. The Railjack offers the highest damage per shot available to the NC at a crushing 750 damage per round. That's enough to two-shot any target aside from a shielded heavy, so stopping power with this guy isn't going to be an issue. We're going to skip over muzzle velocity and come back to that last. At 5.1 slow and 4.1 fast, the reload speeds aren't great, but they're not the worst. That title belongs to the Longshot. However, make sure you note the Railjack only has a 4-round magazine, so although you're reloading faster, you're probably doing it more often, and you run the risk of facing a long reload if you're forced to take that 4th shot. Which brings us back around to muzzle velocity. This baby clocks in at a screaming 850 meters per second. That's 200 meters per second, or about 30% faster than the Longshot, which previously boasted the highest velocity among NC rifles. And now enter the controversy. At first glance you might be thinking, highest damage, highest velocity, competitive reload times? What's not to love? Sign me up, take my money. Let's do this. However, you wouldn't know unless you read the weapon description that the AF-8's record-shattering bullet velocity is the product of a superconductor, which requires a split-second charge of delay. I've heard comments that run the gamut from, "We need more delay," to the feature being denounced as a handicap that's so detrimental to the weapon that it's incapable of functioning in its intended role. And here's my side. I've struggled to snipe for quite some time, so when I saw that 850 meters per second, you better believe I was super excited to get my hands on this puppy. However, I'd already heard the uproar over the delay, so I went into things a little leery. Some claimed their gripe was that the change went through without first hitting the test server, and others were contending that it was bad weapon design. And I'm not here to tell you who's right and who's wrong, but I can tell you that I love this weapon. I've seen the comparisons in math that, assuming the numbers are correct, indicate that from the click of the mouse, the Longshot will hit its target before the Railjack. And that's the fault of the short delay. However, if you can maintain your aim for the duration of the delay, you aren't really suffering those ill effects, and you're still able to enjoy that muzzle velocity. But what does that mean to the gamer? To better illustrate the points I'm going to make, let's take a look at an example. Here we see a pretty standard case of a nearly ideal sniping situation. I have more or less an unobstructed view of the target, and he's running towards me in a straight line at a constant speed. This makes for two relatively simple shots. Acquire the target, click, track through the delay, policeman is down. Here we have a stationary target. No issues there. Acquire, click, track. And again, here comes policeman in the same manner as before. I get my first shot off, no problem. except this time he's ready for me. After I land the first shot, we see him become very erratic in order to evade my follow-up, which works out for him. However, when I come back for the third shot, I know what to expect, and I know that all I have to do is track him, and the velocity will do the rest, which is what we see happen here. So what's the moral of the story? Track, track, track. Maintaining your aim throughout the shot will make or break you when handling this weapon. But when you start to get a feel for it, you'll pull off some pretty fun shots. To be clear, I'm not saying the AF-8 Railjack will transform your game overnight, nor am I encouraging anyone to run out and buy one right this minute. But, in my opinion, the AF-8 hasn't gotten a fair shake, yet. To those of you who haven't had the privilege of fighting with this weapon, I encourage you to trial it and see if it fits your style as well as it fits mine. Thanks for tuning in and providing me with the opportunity to give my side of the story. And enjoy this last little clip in which Policeman gets his revenge. Kudos to you, Policeman, and thanks for being such a good sport. Rifle out.